Okay, so you are here with me right now. This is reading number 7. It's a 5, a 6, a 7. There we go. Reading number 7. You're here right now. And, coordination. Yeah. Welcome to reading 7. This is it. Right here. What is reading 7? Well, reading 7 refers to the 999 Numerological Holiday, special event of portals and time. The Numerological Holiday of 999 represents leadership mode, and this is the special event portal time reading number 7. So this is it, 7. So if you're okay with that, continue on the reading. And if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, well, you can go down to the description and find the link to the pile selection video. That's a video where you can select your pile, and this is reading number 7. So you could select that one, or select something else. It's a charming experience. I show you charms, and if you like a charm, maybe you're drawn to the reading. I also show you the cards. One card per pile at the end, so you can use your intuition thing, or not. But there's that. So that's the pile selection, and you can pause this video, go check that out, or just continue watching here. Alright, see you later. Alright, looky here. We got a decision right here. The Rising Two of Wands. There's a decision that you need to make, which is leading to stagnation. A choice is halting your progress, and you are searching for the clarity and the truth of your situation. Here we got 2 cupbearers, which represents 2 opportunities that can either potentially emotionally fulfill you or leave you exhausted and drained. There is a theme here regarding alcoholism or some kind of indulgence. This is the bad health card after a positive indulgence. Even Lady Temperance herself has 2 drinks in her hands. By the end of the night, she doesn't feel too good. The extra alcohol in her system could lead to physical health complications. Whereas, if this character chooses not to indulge so much, she'll have a healthier experience. Now, it may be a struggle to ease off the alcohol, or just not take the opportunity to drink at all to refrain from drinking or indulging in something temporary, and ultimately you will learn how to transform your experience with the power of your will instead of relying on a drink to provide your mood for you. And this abstinence seems to lead to the end of this vicious cycle. And rising energy, this is the game over card. The battle is over. If you won or lost, there's nothing more that you can do, and you're tired. So in falling energy, your situation may seem like it's over, but there's still more to this story. And rising energy, this is like a religious soldier, bound to his protocols and legalities, and although he thinks he's noble, he's actually carrying on the atrocities of the unjust institution. And so, this kneeling could represent honoring the fallen or taking his leave from a broken situation. And so, reversed, this is more mental and spiritual than physical, maybe. Maybe you're left behind. Maybe you're abandoned and betrayed, which is kind of a physical thing. Whatever works for you. Up here, we have the Cloud card with the spiritualist and the goddess. A very heavenly divine perspective. In the middle, we have a more Midgard perspective of choices and decisions, of actions and consequences, with the joys of life and the disappointments. Down here at the bottom, we have this hellish realm of stagnation and no progress. with illness, jealousy, hoarding of resources, and a situation that just never seems to end. So it seems like this character has a choice between the two paths: to tell the truth and achieve enlightenment, or perhaps to tell a lie and face the consequences for that lie, which is stagnation and a reverse in your progress. And you may get sick from this as well. Who knows? For addiction, there is a theme here of instant gratification versus long-term effects. Although you want to have a fantastic night with friends and party and drink, that could negatively affect your health and ultimately lead you to being demoted or held back, or maybe you don't even pass a test that you need to take. Maybe the universe just delays you by throwing a tower moment in your path so that you can learn the lesson of responsibility, restraint, and to take leadership of your own life. If, however, you refrain from turning this instant gratification of indulgence, whatever form that may take, then in the present moment you may find difficulty and struggle. But you know what? You're getting out of that bad situation, that bad habit of reliance. It's like a crutch you need to stand up with, and you're letting that crutch go. You don't want to rely on that, and thus you are becoming truly enlightened, because you are learning to rely on yourself and train yourself to naturally get yourself into the moods that you need to ultimately provide and be more healthy and have a more healthy experience for you. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to be sober for the rest of your life, but it all depends on why you are drinking in the first place, or indulging in whatever addiction this may be. We just got some cups here. Alcohol is the easiest thing to talk about. It's all about the why, the reason, why you think you need this crutch. This crutch could be anything. It could be religion, it could be addiction, it could be a belief system, anything that you're holding on to that you don't think you can stand up without. That's what crutches are. Because clinging onto this crutch is holding you back from this momentum that you need in your life to achieve your desires. The Temperance card is all about self-control and moderation. So, like this drunkard here, instead of drinking all 9 chalices, he is making a change in his life for health reasons, for the better, to have only 1 drink per night. And this may be a challenge for him if he's used to indulging in all 9. But you don't need a drink when you actually go out. Check that out. You can still socialize and have a good time with friends, or try to get friends without risking your health. And friendships that rely on alcohol to function, they're not friendships at all. Look, I've been down to the clubs. I've seen that no one gets dancing because I'm on the floor. Well, that might be a different reason. I mean, I've seen a lot of people think that they need to get drunk first before they can actually start dancing. You know, I try to inspire them without the alcohol, but they're too cowardly. They need that alcohol. The real dancers forget that alcohol even exists at the bars because they're too busy dancing the night away. Because they're too busy to actually dancing the night away. So the challenge for you, in whatever situation you are facing, is to get on the dance floor by yourself. Don't rely on that alcohol to get you moving. You gotta learn how to dance without the crutch of the alcohol. Maybe this is a cup full of water. And so, it's not as emotionally fulfilling as a chalice of golden alcohol, but notice, this drunkard needs to hold on to the table just to stand up enough to raise his glass to the skies. And this guy, he's on a horse, treading through water, raising his chalice, while wearing a feather on his head. Albeit he's upside down right now, but my point is, even though the switch from the alcohol to the water isn't emotionally as fulfilling, now you have your health, because you need to stay hydrated, because you're a human being with a body full of water, and you need the water, and this leads you to be more able to do physical things, such as dancing, with control, with actual accuracy. And by dancing, you can actually forge new connections. Because because you are still awake and able to talk intelligently, instead of actually being passed out on the table and having to rely on some complete stranger to drive you home when you're unconscious. So, maybe this isn't alcohol. Maybe this is video games. Maybe you're avoiding your responsibilities because a new game came out, so you're neglecting everything that you need to do, like feed your pets, do the dishes, take out the trash, wash your clothes, take a shower, brush your teeth. You're neglecting your own health and your environment because you're trying to enjoy the moment, and your pets are going to resent you for that because you're not enjoying them. And so, temperance is here to remind you to take things in moderation. When we are depressed and miserable, it is easy to latch on and attach ourselves to something that gives us instant relief. So you turn that moment of brief indulgence into a marathon that lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks. But we need to still take care of our lives, especially if we have things dependent on us, like the pets or the family or the friends. And especially if you have a mate. So, instead of spending all day playing video games, only play it for an hour or two, and then stop. Get all your responsibilities done, and then get some rest and food before you get back into that game again. This is leadership mode, and your message is to use moderation to achieve self-mastery and control over yourself and, by extension, your situation. So, if you're wondering if you should have one drink or two, make it one. If you're hesitating about something that you can indulge in, it's most likely a better idea to limit your indulgence, so you can focus on your health, you can focus on all the abilities, instead of actually be disabled for that night. Maybe there's an idea. Maybe there's religion that you keep turning to. Maybe this is the crutch that you get through your life. That idea or belief that is damaging to you, and you know it's wrong, and it's leading to unfulfillment. Instead of actually committing yourself to one institution of ideas, take your time to sip from the chalices of life with all these different ideas or options or belief systems. Take what you like, discard what you don't like, adapt to the new way to think. Alternatively, if you do not struggle with addictions, perhaps you struggle with abstinence. Maybe you are too reserved, and you think that you need to be pure and perfect, and you are missing out on the enjoyments of life. Then this would be your message to live a little, to embrace and experiment and try out new things. Maybe you were raised up to believe that engaging in such sins can only lead to dissolution and despair, and so you never had the opportunity to actually enhance your life. Moderation is key here, yet it is possible for people to develop addictions, but that is actually an extreme, albeit a common occurrence. People can actually behave themselves when they want to, and I believe that you can behave yourself as well. This is like a soldier, always virtuous and true and noble, and yet he's so restricted by his religion that he can't actually enjoy life with a single drink or any luxury at all, because he thinks of himself as a soldier. And yet this path has only brought him pain and struggle, and he's overwhelmed enough to debate that if he's doing the right thing or not. He's used to neglecting his needs and desires, and he's really actually thinking if that's wrong. Maybe he feels like playing a video game or drinking one drink for the night. He thinks these things are sins, temptations for him to avoid because he's so pure and virtuous, and so he's constantly avoiding, or he's constantly removing himself from opportunities where he could actually make beautiful connections with potential amazing friends, which prevents him from finding a real mate because he doesn't actually put himself out there. Maybe there's a toxic mother figure that's struggled with addiction herself, and so she's strict about you. And so, maybe you believe that if you start drinking, because of your bloodline, that you will end up like the other people in your family. Well, let me tell you something. I myself come from a family of addicts. And the thing about me is that I'm so amazing, is that I never became an addict. With my genetic lineage, I come from a long line of alcoholic drinkers and abandonmenters. And yet, how that manifested in me is that I'm actually attentive, and I can actually have the ability to control myself completely, naturally, at all times. When I become drunk, I'm still me. Now remember, it is not the drink that actually changes you. The drink just lowers your inhibition a little, which displays the actual true character of one's soul. So, say you're holding on to resentment because someone treated you badly, and so when you're sober, you can pretend that the situation doesn't affect you. But then you drink, and got one drink, and all that shadow stuff comes to the surface, forcing you to deal with it because you're suppressed it up and bottled it up for years and years and years. And so you feel angry, and you don't know why. But someone in control of themselves doesn't lash out when they feel angry because they already did the shadow work when they were sober. Now, someone who is actually a good, decent soul is always in control of themselves and never lashes out despite any emotion because they are competent, be them drunk or sober. My point is, despite my family history, I'm actually a good soul who is able to control myself. I also have remarkable balance when intoxicated, and I behave so as well. Most people never can tell if I am drunk, and when I am drunk, in fact, since I am a fool, I got this tendency to dance like a demonic cat creature sometimes, or like a puppet that's dangling from some recently cut strings. I do that completely sober, because it takes a lot of concentration to dance like a rag doll. And so, I wonder if in my sober jester state, people at the club may mistake me for drunk, when, at times when I am drunk, I don't dance as much because the dizziness affects the equilibrium, and I'll be more social enough to talk to strangers. So when drunk, I probably seem normal, because I am actually controlling my behavior naturally, because I can do that. Some people can't, and they shouldn't be drinking. So I'm used to the people always thinking the opposite of me. And for you, you shouldn't let people's unjustified opinions of you keep you from indulging in life. Just because they can't control themselves doesn't mean you have their same problems. I am a person who maintains complete control over myself at all times. I have mastered myself. I am enlightened. There's no chance for me to ever develop an addiction. I don't need any crutches. As I have myself to rely upon. I don't need any crutches to see me through any situations. When I indulge, I do so to celebrate life, not because I needed to dance or socialize, and so, that's my message to you. If you can control yourself, live a little, as long as it doesn't affect your health negatively. Don't hold on to this false idea of purity, when life is all about experimenting and finding the right cup that is right for you to drink from. Remember moderation. Although if you are struggling with self-control, then you need to limit yourself and go on that path of self-mastery so you can eliminate the need for crutches in your life. Don't ever let an addict tell you that you have an addiction when they're the ones who can't control themselves. Stand up for yourself, come on. These cups, look at these cups, they're also very special cups. He's holding onto a gold chalice, a pure gold chalice, which is the same chalice of fire and divinity that the Temperance is holding. And next to her is the Knight of Cups, holding a silver chalice, a pure silver chalice of emotional fulfillment, which also Temperance holds in her other hand. How convenient. And in this context, let's just say fire is alcohol and water is water. She's neglecting the water when she's dehydrated so she can get the alcohol to further enjoy her night. However, this also suggests that you are avoiding to drink the water that you need to, because you are mostly a water being, in favor of non-watery liquids that actually dehydrate you even more. This could be energy drinks, this could be coffee. We must dilute ourselves and rehydrate from time to time, although only pure water can be difficult to absorb. Water quickly goes through our systems, so sometimes you need milk or orange juice to get nutrients. To actually get nutrients in your system, hydrate yourself even more, because your system hangs on to it more than it hangs on to water, as water is the vehicle to remove toxins from the body, and so it's quicker to flush things out of our systems. And what is alcohol? It's poison, right? We willingly poison ourselves to diminish our capabilities. Why do we do this? Because it's fun. We do this in order to feel a rush of dizziness, to distract our minds from our own miseries, because the body is busy on removing a threat from its system, then it doesn't really focus on all the bad things that we already remember. And in moderation, this is fine, but overdosing leads to consequences. Anyway, these chalices over here. Look at them. Alright, what we got? Okay, we got 2 silvers. 2 silver cups with some gold details. No, wait, we got 3. We got 3 silver Look at the 9 of cups. Look at all these cups. He's holding up the pure gold cup. And then we got 3 silver chalices. 3 silver chalices with gold detail, and 5 gold chalices with silver detail. And so what does this represent? Well, he's highlighting the 3 of cups, which is the social card, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 of cups, which is that despair card. So, social despair, pretty much, is the message here. He's holding up the golden chalice of opportunities, of emotional fulfillment, and the 9 of cups is the mastery of that. And so he went through all this despair, he went through all this socializing, and he fortified himself with his own boundaries. He's choosing the best way to indulge for that night, and that's through moderation. Now let's look at the card of moderation, the temperance card, the beads around her neck. Are these actually meditation beads, or are they Mardi Gras beads? Is she truly having fun, or is she just being sexualized and pressured instead of being respected? Does she wear the jewelry just for the looks, or is there a deeper spiritual significance and emotional attachment to the gems around her neck? I mean, we got the Hierophant here. She seems spiritual. But is she being tempted herself just to fit in socially? She has all the colors, just like this guy is sipping from all these cups. Temperance is a girl who has sampled all the flavors of life, and so she chooses to surround herself with bright and vibrant saturated colors to represent the best of her experiences. She's a very balanced character, and she can control herself well when she's in party mode. She wants to experience all of life, from earthly pleasures to esoteric pursuits. And because she has mastered herself, she knows when to limit herself due to health reasons. Be the health of the body or the mind or the soul, much like the 3 of Cups card, Temperance has been all these women. She's been in red mode, she's been in blue mode, and she's been in yellow mode. And now, she has a well-balanced perspective of life, and here she is even in teal and purple mode. Fancy that. Maybe it's supposed to be green. I don't know. She's very different from the High Priestess. Although this could be the same individual, this is a mode of vibrancy and color, and this is a mode of introspection. And this is a mode of introspection. The High Priestess is only garbed in white, as her sole focus is introspection and imagination, whereas Temperance is all about indulging in the earthly pleasures. She wants to experience various colorful activities with zest and zeal. The High Priestess is someone who rather stay inside and read a book than go out and party for the night. This doesn't necessarily mean a different character, as we all have our external moments and our internal moments. But in this mode, she's the girl who shows up to the dance club so she can connect better with the universe and harmonize with the energies of distant realities rather than seek out company. Whereas Temperance shows up to the club ready to mingle and wanting to meet people. She wants to dance with a variety of people and have fun for the night. The High Priestess is on a mission of an esoteric nature and will not meet the eye of anyone unless they are also introspective. She sees the spirituality of the dance and takes it very seriously, while Temperance wants to see the people, the actual people, on the dance floor, and has a more casual stance. However, Temperance is still a girl with standards. She knows not to lead people on, or to be led on by others. However, this can also represent someone who needs to have more temperance, to learn how not to lead people on, or to actually be led on. So here, we have Temperance, right up next to the Hierophant, which means there's a spiritual element here, which means you are seeking, with the Ace of Swords, the truth, the clarity of the situation, because you got a choice to make. You want to know what path leads to indulgence, what path leads to control. And so the key here is moderation. You don't have to go completely sober. You don't have to indulge completely. The truth of the matter is, you need to have an emotional satisfaction, a spiritual resonance with the place that you are at and the people you are around, with the activity that you are doing. Always ask yourself, why? Why are you doing this? Do you need this crutch? You don't want this crutch. You want to get rid of this crutch. Look at all these crutches down here. The momentum, the stagnation. Holding on to this crutch makes you unable to do anything else. So you won't get anything done with your life. This is affecting your health. So your decision is to put your emotional satisfaction, your spiritual needs, to rely on yourself in leadership mode. So basically, the leadership mode advice for you with this reading is that when you face those moments of indecision, when you're trying to look for the truth and clarity of your situation, when you feel that hesitation, when you feel that resistance, when you're not moving, when you feel like you need to hold on to something, like you're at the club, you're bored, should I get another drink, should I not? Well, here's your situation, here's your decision. You don't. Because you feel that hesitation, you feel that stagnation. You know, at some point, it's just going to make you sick. It's going to lead to a hangover. And so you have to find the reason why you are at that club. Why are you there? You're there to dance. You're there to get inspired. You're there to actually harmonize with the universe, to actually try to find a friend, to actually enjoy your night. And you're not going to do that intoxicated, completely, overly. Like, 1 or 2 is fine. That's my message. Moderation. Alright. So your mission is to control yourself. That's the choice that you choose for leadership mode. Good luck to you. You see, Nat, you gotta respect yourself to choose you. Choose that you don't need this crutch, whatever this is in your life. You can be fantastic without it, and you're gonna go places without that. And see, all these wands here, it's leading up. Okay, so here's the crutch, here's the inaction, and the choice. You can't make this choice while you got that crutch. Get rid of the crutch, then you can move on with your life. So that's your leadership message. Moderation, enjoy the various different aspects of life, and see what you like. And don't indulge something that you don't like because someone else told you to. Just do what you like. But always have self-control. Okay, bye. Come on, go on. You got a decision to make. Get it done. So the main message here for leadership mode: choices have consequences. Even the smallest things that you think you can handle, if you choose wrongly, then it can have unforeseen side effects and lead to misery rather than harmony. That's your lesson today. Catch you later. So that means you have the responsibility to choose. And you gotta make good choices. Alright. Bye-bye.